Okay, so now we are going to start setting up our pop source node. So we'll start with our particle source object node. I'll select that. Let me open up the pop source thing here. So first off, we want to change the emission type to, we were using all points before, and now we're going to use points because now we don't want particles emitting from every point on every frame. We just want to use the overall number of points as a starting point. Okay, and so under birth, we're going to turn off impulse activation. We're going to be using constant activation on this, and I'm going to have the constant birth rate be high. I'm actually have it be, I believe it's 400,000 for this one. The life expectancy is going to change from 100 to 2, and the variance will be 1. So these will live for a short period of time, but we're going to generate a lot of them. Okay, under attributes, let's look at our velocity tab. For this one, we're going to actually use the inherited velocity. We're not going to change any of the velocity, but we want to scale it down to 0.1 because coming in initially, they're just going to be moving too fast. So I'm going to change this to 0.1. Okay, so now let's actually preview what's going on there. So I'm actually going to disconnect the other particle source just so we can look at this one at a time. And I'm just going to hit play. And we can start to see all of our particles emitting out of the source points. The sources are blue, and then we're emitting all these other points out of there. Okay, so we're starting to get our particle sim working. Of course, we have quite a bit to do to get it going the way we want. Now, actually, let's disconnect out particle source object and just connect in particle source ground hits. And let's look at what we're going to do there. Same thing, emission type is going to be points. We'll go to birth. First, again, we'll turn off impulse activation. We'll have the constant birth rate be 10,000. Actually, we're going to change the source object down to, we did make it 40,000. I think I had said 400,000, but 40,000 is what we wanted. Yeah, 400,000 would have been way too much. We're going to change the life expectancy to 2 and the life variance to 1. And for this one, we're going to do something different with the velocity. So we will keep it on add to inherited velocity, and we will inherit velocity at its incoming scale. And this time we're going to change it up. We're going to add a little velocity to the y so that these pop up a little bit. Imagine we're hitting the ground with an object and we might want something to fly up in the air a little bit. So just adding a little bit of vertical velocity. And we're going to keep the variances on this. Often I turn these down because I don't want to add in other randomness. This time, sure, we'll use it. And I'm going to add a larger variance on the y-axis so that these pop up in the air at slightly different amounts. Okay, so now let's play this back. Right on. So now these are the particles that are coming out of our impacts. And we can see that they actually are popping up a little bit when they emit. Of course, everything is just falling down because there's gravity and we don't have anything colliding with the particles yet. We're going to add in ground collision later. But this is our starting point, and now we've tweaked our pop source nodes to do what we want. I'm going to wire these back together. I'm going to go to the merge node and then reorder these so they are coming in their proper order. Doesn't necessarily really matter, but just for cleanliness. So now we are going to continue on building out the rest of the pop nodes that are going to really form and shape the simulation.